I'm on my way to pick up an item that's gonna get me over $100 in profit. Stick around to find out what that item is. These are my top 10 things that I love to look out for at thrift stores, yard sales, and estate sales. Okay, we're starting off in number 1 on the list, I believe, is the most overlooked item at thrift stores and garage sales. They are vintage perfumes.
Wow. Never ceases to amaze me.
Here's just a quick example. This one is a vintage musk. Looking it up on eBay, it's selling for over $30 consistently. I only spent $1 on this. There's another great one. This is a vintage Old Spice aftershave. Still has the Kmart tag on the back, $5.97. There's a pretty niche, however you want to say it, community of people who buy these old perfumes and colognes, and you can definitely take advantage of finding these at like estate sales.
The sleeper as always, guys. I think I got 11 perfumes here. I'll look up a couple and see what they're worth, let you know.
One last thing about these vintage colognes and perfumes, if you're going to ship them, it's most likely you're gonna have to do that through UPS ground. Because of the materials, you can't fly them on airplanes, so UPS ground is probably the best bet to ship those kinds of things. Number 2 on my list for things to look out for at garage sales is the TI-84 Plus calculator. Almost every kid in junior high or high school is gonna need a calculator, just like this one. They sell for about $10 or $15 even if they're broken, so if you find one for cheaper than that, it's worth the risk. You also want to look out for battery corrosion in here and make sure that there's no problems with that. Some of these calculators can be very old. I look out for these all the time. If they're under $20, I'll buy them because they sell for about $50 very consistently. Now there are other calculators that are similar to this. There are a couple that sell equally or even a little bit better, but this is the most common one that you're going to find that you can actually make the most money on.
Calculator.
Number 3 on my list is vintage skateboards. I've been lucky enough to find a couple of these. The main brand that I know to look out for is from the 80s. It's a brand called Sims. Vintage skateboards are the most recognizable to me because they're a little bit wider and they have these plastic guards on the sides of the bottom of the deck. If you can find one of these, it's worth your time to look it up. If you can't tell the brand, but it does seem old and valuable to you, you can use the Google Lens app. Usually you can look it up that way just to find what the name of the skateboard is, and then type in the name that way through the eBay search so you can see exactly how much it's selling for. The Sims board I found a few months ago was worth over $300. Also, one of the things for my very first YouTube video was called a flow board. It was a skateboard with like 16 wheels on the bottom of it. It was pretty crazy. Used to balancing on 4 wheels, it's gotta be different. I bought that for $5 and it sells for around $50. Number 4 on the list is one of the more obvious ones. It's vintage clothing and hats. There's a massive community for vintage right now. Tons of businesses built on selling just t-shirts alone. Now there's a ton of things that I could go over in this category and even a few that I don't know myself, but let me tell you what I do know. There's a few key things you can do to identify if it's a vintage piece. They're single stitched on the sides and sometimes on the bottom as well. If you look on the tag, it usually says made in the USA, which believe it or not, most shirts were before the early 2000s. A lot of vintage clothes also have the year printed on the bottom of the graphic. This is a Harley Davidson from 1991. Usually the bigger the print, the better they sell. Here's the front of this one in the back. Harley's a great vintage brand to look out for. Sports, music, tour tees, movies and television, anything from pop culture. This is a Ren and Stimpy that I found from an old storage unit. This is worth about $90. I got this for like $2. This one is on a black changes tag. This one's printed in 1992. Also, the vintage hats go a little bit more overlooked. There are a few brands that I see that I absolutely get when I find them. There's Logo 7 brand, Logo Athletic, Sports Specialties, and one like I'm wearing right now. This is a starter. And the next thing on the list is the gamer TV. The reason it's called a gamer TV is because people like to buy this TV to play their old video games on. It gives the games a really nostalgic feel. These are the TVs that you can plug in the red, yellow, and white cords in the back. The ones that I found that sell better actually have the VHS player built into the actual TV. There's a wide variety of brands and sizes of this TV. I bought some in white, black, gray, but also there's like a Disney Princess one that sells really well, a SpongeBob SquarePants television like that, and there's actually a Mickey Mouse shaped one where the ears are actually the speakers. These can sell for around $70 to maybe $200. Number 6 on the list is a very big item, but if you find it, you've got to grab it. I'm talking about Peacock Chairs. They're the wicker chairs with the large round backs. Boho is a very popular style right now. People love to incorporate that style into their living rooms or their front porches. I found one at the local thrift store a few months ago. Bought it for like $15 and resold it for $100. If they're in better condition, they can go for $200, $300, $400. Really quick one for number 7 is CPR Dummies. Yeah, you heard me right.
Are they breathing?
No, Rose, they are not breathing. And they have no arms or legs.
These are expensive pieces of equipment and they don't come around very often. But when they do, you gotta take advantage of it and snatch them up.
We had to pay for it. Cost us $3,500.
$5,300 for a dummy?
Wow. I found an adult size one and a baby size one. I bundled them together, sold them on eBay. I think I spent $6 total. Sold them on eBay for 100 plus within a month. Oh, someone's calling me. Hello.
Listen, what's going on, man?
What's up?
Hey, bro, I came into a whole load of more first editions.
You did?
They're all first editions and they're all foils, bro, every one of them.
Wow.
Yeah, so let me send you these pictures and tell me what you think, okay?
Okay, I'll hit you back up when I look.
Okay, cool, thanks, man. Bye.
So this is a guy that I met up with on Marketplace yesterday. He just called me during this and he said he found some more first edition Pokemon cards. I bought this Charizard and a couple others for $200, which is a good price, not a great price, but yeah, look out for Pokemon cards too. I'm gonna be able to make at least $100 off these 3. It's a bonus item. Number 8 is another popular thing to resell. It's probably the thing that resellers look for the most because of the demand and the popularity. Video games, they are important to look up, but you can get crazy profit out of these. This is a Lord of the Rings for Super Nintendo or SNES. Got this for $5, it's probably a $40 game. It's always important to look up video games. They range widely in price. Consoles are great to grab as well. This is a Game Boy Advance SP. I think I got this one for about 20 bucks and I expect to triple my money for this one. Nintendo 64s and GameCubes are great to grab as well, but this console is one that I don't think very many people understand the value of. This is a PlayStation 3, but not a normal one. This is reverse compatible, meaning that it can play games from the PlayStation 2 and the original PlayStation. You can tell the difference between this and a regular PS3 by the opening right here. It has different slots. This PS3 can sell for about $300 while other ones can only sell for around 80 bucks. Now these numbers aren't Bible, they obviously fluctuate over time based on different scenarios, but I'm just giving a general idea of what I've sold them for in the past. Okay, we're second to the last on this list of 10 and I'm gonna head out here shortly to pick up the number 1 item to keep your eye out for. Number 9 is the Nickelodeon Throwbacks. Some of you might recognize these from your childhood. I actually had a couple of these when I was little. Now Nickelodeon made a camera, an alarm clock, and a telephone with like purple, orange, green slime all over it. And if you find one of these, they're worth probably $100 a piece. I was at a yard sale last summer and I found the camera, which is actually called the Nickelodeon Photo Blaster. I bought it for $1 and I resold it for $100 within a week. Now let's go pick up item number 1. Okay, so here it is, the Scotty Cameron putter. A couple of guys have always told me to look out for these. The holy grail of golf clubs as far as I understand golf. I don't golf very much, but got this for $115 on Marketplace. I'm going to resell it hopefully for about $300. Sometimes they go for a lot more. I'm gonna have to look into it a little bit more, but yeah, this is easily a $75 profit on this one. So keep your eye out for the Scotty Cameron putter anywhere you go. Thanks so much for watching. Make sure and subscribe. Everybody on YouTube is saying this and it sounds redundant, but if you subscribe and you like these videos, then I'm gonna be able to provide more. It helps me out a bunch and it helps me be able to make these videos more often. If this is your first time watching my channel, thank you. Make sure and check out this other video that's one of my favorites coming up right now.